In a highly restricted military conference room in Tel Aviv, deep beneath the surface of the city, a gathering takes place. Intelligence analysts, military generals, and psychological warfare experts are staring at a board filled with digital maps, but they're not tracking missiles, satellites, or cyber warfare threats. Instead, the center of their screen glows with an Arabic word, Al-Mahdi. A general speaks in hushed tones. He is not here yet, but the signs are aligning. The room goes silent. But why is Israel, a nation obsessed with data, precision, and surveillance, so fixated on a man from prophecy? To understand this, we must go back. Al-Mahdi, literally the guided one, is not just a religious figure for Muslims. He is a sign of global transformation. According to Islamic eschatology, Al-Mahdi will rise before the end of times to establish justice, truth, and the real divine order on earth. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "A man from my family, whose name matches mine, will fill the earth with justice and equity as it was filled with oppression and tyranny." Muslims believe that Al-Mahdi will appear from the lineage of the Prophet, peace be upon him, a descendant of Fatima and Ali, and that he will unite the Ummah, defeat tyrannical regimes, and restore the true caliphate. But what does that have to do with Israel? Everything. Since 1948, the foundation of the State of Israel has been marked by a strange paradox: immense strength, yet deep insecurity. Surrounded by majority Muslim nations, Israel has always feared two things. First, the reawakening of the Muslim. Second, the emergence of a spiritual leader who could unite them. Al-Mahdi is exactly that figure. Not a political leader limited by borders, not a cleric bound by nationality, but a divine commander whose rise is tied not to elections or revolutions, but to destiny. And that terrifies Israel more than nuclear weapons. A 2013 classified intelligence briefing by the Israeli Military Intelligence Directorate reportedly included simulations of Islamic messianic movements, among them the rise of a charismatic leader from the East who would bring not war, but unity. Why simulate a prophecy? Because history has shown that religious prophecy often fuels revolutionary action. One of the Hadiths mentions, black flags will come from Khorasan, and nothing will stop them until they are planted in Jerusalem. Khorasan, a historical region covering parts of Iran, Afghanistan, and Central Asia, is seen in many traditions as the origin point of Al-Mahdi's movement. In 2009, an Israeli think tank issued a paper titled The Rise of Apocalyptic Islam, warning Western policymakers about the possibility of messianic figures triggering global unrest. But Israel knows this is not just about unrest, it's about revolution of the unseen, a spiritual tide that no army can bomb, no drone can track. Let's ask the question, why is the arrival of Al-Mahdi always followed by the emergence of Dajjal? Because Dajjal represents the peak of material deception, a world dominated by technology, illusion, and false messiahs. Is it a coincidence that the center of global influence today is tied to one region? Is it by chance that Jerusalem, the prophesied battleground, is under heavy Zionist control? No. The fear of Al-Mahdi is rooted in a hidden truth. His appearance marks the collapse of the Dajjalic system, a system that thrives on inequality, surveillance, media manipulation, and moral decay. Israel, knowingly or unknowingly, is a major node in that system. Let me ask you this: do you believe the system we live in today, with its obsession over power, media, and control, could really allow a man like Al-Mahdi to rise peacefully? It is not widely reported, but Israeli intelligence has monitored Mahdi's movements in Iraq, Iran, and even Yemen for decades. A declassified Mossad document from the early 2000s listed Messianic Shia militias as a top concern. Their fear wasn't just of terrorism, it was ideological. Israel knows that belief, once ignited, can't be destroyed by tanks. During the Iraq War, coalition forces discovered leaflets and sermons predicting the rise of al-Mahdi, especially among the Mahdi's movements in Najaf and Karbala. The pattern was clear. Wherever there is oppression, the idea of al-Mahdi becomes more real, and that reality is stronger than any military. Several hadiths mention that al-Mahdi will confront oppressive rulers and will eventually enter Jerusalem. He will conquer Constantinople, and then he will go to Jerusalem. And more critically, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that Prophet Isa, peace be upon him, will descend and pray behind the Mahdi. Now pause. Why is this significant? Because Israel is not just a political entity. It is built on theological foundations, and it fears a theology that opposes it with divine legitimacy. The arrival of al-Mahdi, supported by Isa, peace be upon him, would delegitimize the Zionist claim to spiritual authority over Jerusalem, and that would be the end of their system, not just militarily, but existentially. Few people know this, but some within the Zionist religious elite also expect a Messiah. However, their Messiah is not al-Mahdi. In fact, in many Jewish eschatological texts, their Mashiach will be a king, a restorer of the temple. So here's the catch: they're preparing for a Messiah. But what if the real one comes, and he's not theirs? This is why Israel fears al-Mahdi, not because of what he is, but because of what he isn't. He's not under their control, not from their bloodline, not from their ideology, and yet he will liberate the very land they claim. While Israel builds walls, weapons, and wiretaps, the real war is happening in the hearts of people. The Mahdi is not just a figure of war. He is a figure of awakening. Israel may be afraid of al-Mahdi's army, but what they truly fear is his message, because it will unmask falsehood, break the media spell, revive the spirit of resistance, and awaken even those within enemy lands. Let's go back to that Tel Aviv bunker. The general taps on the board. This is not a drill. He says, this is theology. If he rises, the world order falls. They know what many Muslims don't. They believe what many Muslims have forgotten. And that is why Israel is afraid, not of a man, but of the promise of a man foretold. So the question is not whether al-Mahdi will rise. The question is, are we ready for the moment the fear of Israel becomes the hope of the Muslim community? The signs are aligning, the pieces are moving, and the shadow of destiny grows longer every day. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so you don't miss our future investigations into divine prophecy, hidden history, and spiritual awakening. And leave us a comment. What do you think is Israel's biggest fear about al-Mahdi? We're listening.